It's Ron Reader Digs the Universe. I'm Ron Reader, and this is Ron Reader Digs the Universe, and tonight, why I'm thankful this Thanksgiving. It's kind of a weird holiday, celebrated only in the U.S. and a few other places as such. Derived from traditional European harvest festivals and filtered through the English Protestant Reformation, the Puritans came over with the prototype already wired in, and the so-called first Thanksgiving is known to us only from a sketchy story about New England pilgrims inviting the Wampanoags to such an event, which is ironic to say the least, because that tribe was eventually virtually wiped out. All weird stuff. Anyway, the holiday is clearly religious in origin and continues to be religious for many, but something that fascinates me is that Thanksgiving is also a very secular holiday, which immediately prompts the question, if not thankful to God, then thankful to whom? Maybe for secular Thanksgiving we're thankful to ourselves. That's a bit weird too. And you know, the religious aspects are also weird. I'm pretty deist in my agnosticism. When I'm feeling like there's a God, I think that thanking her for the universe in which we live and for our genetically encoded sense of morality is just about as far as I can go. Beyond that, I've never seen any evidence that God doles out free shit. I think it's likely that she expects us to work for it. But, you know, this year I don't need to meditate on the esoteric tautology at play here with Thanksgiving, not in 2021. This year, I know exactly who I'm thanking and why. This year, I am deeply grateful that the political and cultural values I have embraced for the last 25 years in the wilderness are now mainstream. People used to laugh at me, or at best adopt patronizing tones and postures when I would talk about the various legal, economic, indoctrinational, media, and cultural systems shaping and editing our very thoughts about the way the world works. That finally started changing with Occupy Wall Street, and then it came into full bloom with the rise of Black Lives Matter. We've got big-time activism happening now with everything from climate change to patriarchy to gay, lesbi, trans rights and inclusion to labor issues. It's been pretty fucking cool to see the whole thing playing out. You know, when I first heard the term woke, I was like, oh, that means having the same political values that Ron Reader has had since the mid-1990s. To extend the woke metaphor for myself a bit here, I have found myself experiencing the joy of being the guy in the spaceship watching the instruments for decades and at last seeing the rest of the crew coming out of cold sleep for the final approach. I used to be a lefty weirdo, but now I'm a normal American again, and that's awesome! And I know exactly who to thank for it. America's youth, 20-somethings and teenagers, Generation Z or millennials or whatever the fuck the media call them. They're the ones seeing things clearly. The old bullshit doesn't work on them, and they are en masse telling the whole world what they think. Things are really dark right now. Yes, the forces of American fascism threaten to topple our fragile democracy. The very wealthy run roughshod over our very lives. Book burnings and Orwellian thought plague the land. Lynchings are still a thing. But if we can head off the worst effects of global warming, I am very hopeful for the future. These young people know what's up, and they're doing something about it. That's why I'm thankful this Thanksgiving. I'm Ron Reeder, and this has been Ron Reeder Digs the Universe. Join me, Ron Reeder, again next week for another episode of Ron Reeder Digs the Universe. Next Tuesday, Black Friday.